As the night settles gently over the city, imagine yourself drifting to the quiet streets of modern Rome. The usual rhythm of the day has faded. The sound of traffic has softened into a distant hum, and the air carries a coolness that feels almost ancient, as if it has passed through centuries before reaching you. Street lamps glow faintly, casting long shadows across old stone walls, and somewhere in the distance a single Vespa echoes for a moment before disappearing again. Everything slows down, everything calms, and the city seems to exhale. In this softened hush, the Colosseum begins to appear, almost shyly at first, as though rising out of the darkness, not as a bustling tourist icon you may usually imagine, but as a sleeping giant, resting beneath the dim wash of moonlight. Its arches, worn and fractured by time, seem gentler at night, more forgiving. Even the broken sections of fallen stones, the exposed ribs of the structure, all of them feel like memories instead of ruins. You can stand before it in this vast stillness and feel the boundary between past and present blur until the centuries begin to soften as well. Tonight, we step into that softened space. We will not rush. We will not push through facts or bombard the senses. Instead, we will glide slowly and quietly, letting the story unfold with the same patience that time itself used to shape this monument. The Colosseum has stood here for nearly 2,000 years, and the story of what was lost, what disappeared from its walls, its upper tiers, its hidden chambers, cannot be understood without first resting in the presence of what still remains. And so we begin here at the threshold, watching the moonlight trace the curves and fractures of a building that has witnessed emperors, gladiators, earthquakes, and centuries of transformation. As you stand there, imagine the cool stone beneath your fingertips. Imagine the way ancient Romans must have felt walking past the same enormous shape, its walls rising high above them, gleaming with fresh marble and decorated with statues long since vanished. But here in the quiet of night, imagine that no tourists surround you, no guides speak out, no crowd surge through the arches. There is only you and the slow rhythm of history turning like pages in a book left open too long. The lost parts of the Colosseum begin to tug gently at the imagination. Entire levels once crowned the top of the amphitheater, stretching even higher into the Roman sky, now gone without a visible trace. Massive wooden beams once creaked under the weight of spectators who squeezed into the uppermost seats, breathing in dust, sweat, and the thrill of the games below. The velarium, an enormous canvas awning, once unfurled like a great sail, shading tens of thousands from the burning sun. Now the ropes, the pulleys, the sails themselves exist only in fragments of memory and scattered writings. Beneath your feet, the underground labyrinth once buzzed with frantic movement, but parts of that lower network have collapsed, flooded, or been dismantled over centuries. Rooms, corridors, passageways, lost quietly, piece by piece. This first step in our journey is not yet to explore those lost pieces, but feel the profound weight of the Colosseum's presence. Only when the stillness settles in can we begin to understand what absence truly means. When you look up at the remaining outer wall, its soft golden shades illuminated by the nighttime lamps, the missing southern side becomes a dramatic silhouette against the sky. The empty curve feels almost poetic, as though the building itself opened a window to show the world its vulnerability. It is strange to realize that what is missing tells as much of the story as what survives. As the cool breeze drifts across the open arches, it is easy to imagine Rome as it once was. The scent of olive oil lamps, the shuffling footsteps of late-night workers closing their shops, the distant clatter of wooden wheels on stone. Even now, if you listen carefully, you may feel as if those faint sounds are still echoing somewhere deep within the structure, tucked between layers of stone like forgotten whispers. The Colosseum has known silence before, long before nighttime lighting, before camera flashes, before guidebooks and school trips. For centuries it rested alone, abandoned by the people who once filled it. Grass grew between its cracks. Goats grazed in the arena floor. Hermits lived within its walls. It endured storms, fires, collapses, and even deliberate dismantling as its stones were carried away to build other monuments. And yet, even after all of this, it stands here, firm enough to tell us its story once more. As the night deepens, your senses adjust to the rhythm of this ancient place. Your breathing slows. The world feels larger, older, more delicate. You can almost feel time brushing past your shoulders as though guiding you gently forward. The missing elements of the Colosseum, its upper tiers, its wooden structures, its forgotten corridors, hover at the edge of your thoughts, waiting to be explored. But they will reveal themselves gradually, in the same patient way stone erodes, or ivy creeps, or history settles into memory. For now, we stand at the opening of a story, letting the quiet presence of the Colosseum welcome us. In the darkness, with the city calm around it, the great amphitheater becomes not a ruin but a companion, silent, sturdy, and full of secrets. Its missing pieces are not just architectural details. They are traces of human ambition, creativity, conflict, and change. They belong to the narrative we will uncover gently, piece by piece, as our journey continues. Tonight marks the beginning of that journey. With the Colosseum resting peacefully before us, we step softly into its past, into the spaces that remain and the spaces now lost, letting its story unfold like a slow, soothing dream. As we move deeper into the night, imagine the Colosseum not as a ruin, but as a newly completed marvel, waking slowly under the first light of an ancient Roman morning. The soft glow of dawn gently brushes against its towering walls, revealing a structure that once shimmered with pale marble and polished surfaces. The air is cool and carries a faint scent of damp earth, olive-wood smoke, and the lingering chill of the previous night. Rome is only just beginning to stir, and in this early hour, the Colosseum feels calm, composed, and almost proud, standing at the center of a city that has not yet realized the magnitude of what it has created. In this quiet morning scene, the amphitheater seems alive. Workers from nearby neighborhoods begin their slow walk toward the gates. Vendors roll out small carts filled with bread, olives, and fruit, preparing for the thousands who will flood the area as the day unfolds. The sun rises a little higher, painting the arches in a warm, golden hue, and the shadows cast by the massive outer walls stretch long and gentle across the ground. It is a moment where the monument feels untouched, whole and full of promise. Imagine yourself moving through this freshly awakened environment. There are no loud announcements, no restless crowds, no overwhelming noise. Only the subtle rustle of fabric as early spectators adjust their cloaks, the distant clatter of wooden sandals on stone pathways, and the quiet discussions between the officials who monitor the entries. They stand proud, adorned in simple Roman garments, reviewing lists, checking tickets, and organizing seating. None of them yet notice the weight of history rising around them. To them, it is a new workday. To us, thousands of years later, it is the first living breath of a monument that will witness both glory and ruin. The Colosseum in this moment is complete. Its upper tiers stretch high into the sky, symmetrical and unbroken. Each arch supports the next in perfect balance, forming a ring that seems almost impossible in scale. The marble veneers reflect a gentle light, giving the building an almost ethereal glow. Statues once stood proudly in many of the outer arches, figures of gods, heroes, emperors, and personifications of Roman ideals. Though long gone today, you can picture them here, freshly carved, smooth, and radiant in the tender morning sun. As the city slowly awakens, the soundscape changes. Livestock bleats in the distance. A water seller shuffles down the road, his jars clinking softly. A baker opens his shop nearby, and the comforting scent of warm bread rolls lazily through the air. People approach the amphitheater not in chaos, but in a kind of solemn excitement, aware that something extraordinary awaits them inside. In these early hours, the Colosseum feels like a grand stage waiting for its performers. But for this serene moment, the silence remains unbroken. You approach the grand entrance, where the stone is still almost new, its edges sharp and clean. The massive blocks fit so neatly together that it is hard to believe they were placed by human hands. The gates, made of sturdy iron and polished wood, stand open and inviting. Roman soldiers, calm and focused, stand nearby, monitoring the steady flow of people entering. There is a sense of routine about it, even though this building is unlike anything the world has ever seen before. Imagine stepping inside just as the sunlight begins to slip through the corridors, illuminating the internal walkways. The cool shade inside creates a gentle contrast to the warming light outside. Every footstep echoes softly, following the curved pathways that wind around the interior. The air is slightly cooler inside the structure, carrying the faint smell of fresh plaster, damp stone, and the lingering aroma of the workshops that had completed their tasks only weeks before. As you emerge into the seating area, the vastness of the arena opens before you. The sand below looks almost untouched, smooth and undisturbed. Workers sweep the edges, preparing for the day's events, moving slowly and methodically as though aware that the eyes of Rome will be upon the space shortly. The seating tiers rise around you in clean, precise rings, each section carefully designated for senators, citizens, foreigners, and the poor. Higher and higher the seats extend, far beyond what remains today, creating a complete crown of spectators' benches that circle the sky. You look up, and the topmost level feels impossibly distant. Wooden beams extend outward, forming the supports for the great velarium that sailors will later operate to shade the crowd. In the calm of the morning, none of the canvas is unfurled, so the sky above is bright and open, a clear blue expanse framed by the repeating arches of the uppermost walls. This is a part of the Colosseum that would one day disappear, the delicate, vulnerable sections that no longer survive. For now, they are intact, reaching proudly into the morning light. The city around the Colosseum slowly grows louder, but from inside, the sound remains muffled, softened by the thickness of the stone. A few early spectators adjust their seats, chatting quietly. Birds circle overhead, calling softly as they weave through the open spaces between the upper arches. A sense of anticipation hangs in the air, but it is gentle, almost respectful, as if the crowd senses the significance of the moment. This is the Colosseum as it once was, alive, whole, and magnificent. In these early hours, the building stands not as a ruin but as a testament to Roman ambition and engineering. Its lost parts still exist here, firmly in place, blending seamlessly with the structure below. The voices of history have not yet carved their marks into its stones. Time has not yet taken its share. As you stand in this calm, polished, newborn amphitheater, you can feel the weight of what has been lost, not through absence but through presence. The missing sections that we see today were once as vivid and real as anything before you now. Their disappearance will come later, slowly, quietly, through the long and patient work of centuries. For this moment, however, the Colosseum breathes deeply, fully, and beautifully, and you stand within it, watching as the first true morning of its long life unfolds. Long before the Colosseum rose into the Roman sky, long before crowds gathered to watch spectacles and emperors claimed glory from its grand design, the land beneath it held a very different story. To understand what was eventually lost, we must drift gently back to a time when this enormous structure was not even imagined, when the ground it stands on was part of a quiet, natural landscape shaped by water, wind, and the whims of emperors. In this soft return to the deeper past, the world around us seems quieter still, as though Rome itself is inhaling slowly, preparing to reveal its earliest layers. Imagine standing in this place 2,000 years ago, before the hustle of vendors, before the stone arches, before even the foundations were planned. The air feels cooler, moister, and denser with the presence of greenery. Instead of stone pavements and crowded streets, the area lies open and somewhat isolated, surrounded by sloping hills that cradle a shallow, still body of water. This basin, glimmering faintly under gentle sunlight, is the remains of an artificial lake, part of Nero's extravagant Domus Aurea, the golden house he built after the great fire of Rome. The water rests quietly, reflecting the sky and surrounding structures like a polished mirror. Around the lake, patches of soft grass sway lightly in the breeze, and the faint sound of insects rises from the reeds that edge the water. Occasional ripples disturb the surface as birds dip low, searching for insects or simply gliding in for rest. This peaceful environment feels almost disconnected from the city's busy core, though in reality, Rome surrounds it. The lake lies in a valley between several of the city's famous hills, the Celian, the Esquiline, and the Palatine, forming a natural bowl that will one day become filled with stone, sand, and the weight of thousands of spectators. For now, though, it is simply a quiet stretch of water, watched over by grand halls and gilded decorations from Nero's palace complex. Bridges and pathways connect luxurious rooms, colonnades, and gardens. It is a space meant for contemplation, beauty, and the indulgence of a single emperor's desires. Yet beneath that luxury there is an uneasy stillness, a sense that this place is too large, too extravagant, too detached from the needs of the Roman people. As you breathe in this ancient air, you might sense the political tension woven into the landscape. Nero's lavish estate, with its shimmering lake and endless corridors of decorated marble, stood as a symbol of excess, a reminder to the Roman public of an emperor who placed his own comfort above the city's well-being. People whisper about it even as they admired its beauty. They wondered how much grain could have fed the poor instead of gilding the ceilings, how many workshops, temples, or public spaces could have existed where private gardens sprawled now. But just like the Colosseum's missing stone centuries later, Nero's golden house was destined to disappear slowly, taken apart piece by piece as new emperors sought to rewrite the narrative of their time. The lake, so still and serene now, would eventually be drained and filled, transformed from a symbol of excess into a symbol of generosity. Where one emperor had claimed the land for himself, another would give it back to the people. Imagine the work that followed Nero's death, a quiet hum of labor echoing across the valley as teams of workers began dismantling sections of the grand estate. The sound of chisels tapping gently against marble, the murmur of instructions passed between supervisors, the crunch of boots on gravel paths. Day by day, little by little, the landscape changed. Gardens became construction sites. Pathways were diverted. The shimmering surface of the lake began to shrink as channels redirected its water. The air grew heavy with dust as the ground was cleared, leveled, and prepared for something entirely new. Vespasian, the emperor who followed Nero, had a vision that contrasted sharply with his predecessors. He wanted to create something for the public, something monumental yet communal, a space where Romans from all walks of life could gather. The drained lake provided the perfect location, a vast, naturally enclosed area surrounded by hills, capable of holding an enormous structure without overwhelming the surrounding cityscape. As workers shoveled earth and laid the first outlines of the massive foundation, the future of the site began to shift, slowly at first, then unmistakably. Imagine walking across this transforming landscape during the early days of construction. The foundation trenches cut deep into the earth, revealing layers of soil that had rested undisturbed beneath Nero's lake. Wooden stakes and rope markings crisscrossed the site, guiding teams of engineers, surveyors, and laborers who moved with steady purpose. The ground smells of wet soil, fresh timber, and the faint mineral scent of newly exposed earth. The atmosphere is filled with a quiet determination, as though everyone involved understands the magnitude of what is unfolding. Above the site, the surrounding hills rise like gentle guardians. The Palatine Hill, home to imperial residences, watches from one side. The Celian and Esquiline hills form natural boundaries on the others. Their slopes provide vantage points from which curious onlookers observe the beginnings of what will become Rome's most iconic amphitheater. From those heights, the workers look small, almost like ants tracing the outline of a future giant. As days turn into months and months into years, the transformation becomes more dramatic. The first blocks of stone are laid, forming a perimeter that begins to give shape to the Colosseum's footprint. The air is filled with the rhythm of tools striking stone, the grunt of workers hauling materials, and the creaking of wooden cranes as they lift heavy pieces into place. But even in this busy environment, there is a sense of calm precision, each action purposeful, each movement contributing to a structure meant to endure centuries. And yet, for all the effort now being poured into raising the Colosseum, its foundation rests on the memory of what came before. Beneath the stone lies the earth once touched by Nero's lake. Beneath the arena floor lies the soft mud where birds once landed. Beneath the corridors and stairways lies the quiet tranquility of a moment in Roman history, where nature and excess shared the same space. As you stand in this imagined landscape of transition, you begin to understand how deeply the Colosseum is tied to the layers of Rome's past. Its lost parts, its vanished structures, its missing stones, all of them belong to a long sequence of transformations. Before anything disappeared, something else had been removed, replaced, or reshaped. The Colosseum rose not only from stone and labor, but from the erasure of what came before it, a cycle of creation and loss that echoes through every era of the city. Even now, as you drift through this early moment in its history, the future feels distant, the ruins unimaginable, the collapses unthinkable. For now, all that exists is the anticipation of a structure that will soon stand complete, magnificent, and full of promise, a structure that, centuries later, will tell stories not only of what survived, but also of everything quietly lost along the way. The process of raising the Colosseum was slow, deliberate, and almost hypnotic in its rhythm, a dance of stone, wood, rope, and sweat that stretched across years and generations of labor. Imagine standing at the edge of the site as the first beams of dawn illuminate the foundation trenches, the soft light bouncing off wet earth and freshly cut stone. The air smells faintly of dust and clay, with a subtle tang of sweat from the workers who begin their day, moving carefully in choreographed motions that will gradually transform the emptied valley into one of the most enduring monuments in history. There's a calm order in the chaos, a quiet rhythm that seems almost designed to lull the senses, while enormous weight and energy are shifted slowly into place. The engineers of the time, though working without modern machinery, possess a meticulous understanding of balance, weight, and geometry. Wooden scaffolds rise like skeletal frames above the earth, their beams creaking under the slow, measured pressure of labor. Pulley systems, ingeniously designed, allow massive blocks of travertine to move from the quarries into their resting place. The sound is repetitive but soothing. The scrape of stone against stone, the low thrum of rope tightening, the faint echo of wooden wheels across stone pathways. Even in its laborious intensity, there is a strange meditative quality to construction, as if the building itself encourages patience, careful observation, and a kind of reverent awe. Imagine the hands that touched every stone, smoothing its edges, inspecting its alignment, ensuring that it fits perfectly with the neighboring block. The Romans were painstaking in their attention to detail, carving grooves, drilling holes, and placing iron clamps to hold the massive blocks together. Each stone is not merely lifted and set. It is oriented with the same precision that a musician brings to an instrument, every placement contributing to the harmony and longevity of the whole. The upper tiers, the areas most susceptible to collapse in later centuries, are reinforced from the very beginning, their inner skeletons of brick and concrete carefully layered to balance the immense weight above. The laborers move with an almost hypnotic rhythm. Some haul blocks on sledges, sliding them over grease paths, while others guide the ropes that lift them into place with pulleys mounted on high scaffolds. Occasionally, an entire section of stone is wheeled into position atop wooden platforms, balanced carefully before being lowered into its final resting place. The air vibrates softly with effort. A grunt here, the snap of rope there, the faint murmur of instructions passed from overseer to worker. You can almost feel the pulse of the construction itself, a slow, steady heartbeat that rises and falls as the day progresses. Consider the foundations, too, vast trenches dug into the former lake bed, filled with compacted earth, stones, and concrete to create a solid base. Beneath these foundations, the engineers anticipated centuries of load, floods, and seismic activity, building with foresight that modern architects still marvel at. Each layer of concrete is mixed and poured with care, allowed to settle, to bind, and to gain strength. The rhythm of pouring and leveling mirrors a meditation, steady, repetitive, deliberate. By the time the foundations are complete, they form not only the base of the Colosseum, but a quiet testament to Roman patience and ingenuity. Above, scaffolds rise higher and higher, outlining the enormous arches that will become the facade. The workers carve keystones, carefully lifting them into place at the apex of each arch, their shapes fitting snugly, each one a small miracle of weight distribution. The arches themselves create the characteristic rhythm of the Colosseum's walls, and their repetition, exact and unyielding, conveys a sense of calm symmetry. You can almost hear the slow, measured counting of laborers ensuring each keystone is perfectly positioned, each stone supporting the next in silent cooperation. The velarium, the great canopy that would eventually shade tens of thousands of spectators, begins its life in these years, slowly. Massive masts are placed along the top tiers, their wooden surfaces smoothed and fitted into sockets carved into the stone. Sailors, often detailed from the Roman Navy, are brought in to operate the system of ropes and pulleys, practicing the intricate maneuvers that will later allow them to unfurl or retract the enormous canvas sails. Even now, in this early stage, the canopy's framework seems almost impossible to manage, yet there is a quiet elegance to the way it is planned and integrated into the structure. Every element of the Colosseum is layered with both practicality and beauty. The lower seating tiers, reserved for senators and elite citizens, are carved from the finest marble, polished to a soft glow that will catch sunlight and shadow in the hours to come. The higher tiers, meant for the common people, rise steadily, their stone rougher but no less carefully placed. Corridors and stairways wind gracefully through the structure, planned with foresight, so that crowds can flow in and out with surprising efficiency. The entire arena, from the underground hypogeum to the outer arches, is being assembled not only as a functional space, but as a living testament to Roman engineering and artistry. At ground level, the arena floor is prepared with the same attention to detail. Sand is laid, leveled, and tamped to provide a surface that can absorb impact and conceal the mechanisms below. Beneath it, a complex network of tunnels, cages, and trapdoors begins to take shape. These underground chambers will later be used to house animals, gladiators, and stage equipment, and their construction requires the same calm precision that guides every visible stone above. You can almost hear the faint scratching of chisels against brick, the measured tapping of mallets as the passages take form, a rhythm as steady and soothing as a heartbeat. Time stretches in a peculiar way during this construction. Days bleed into months, months into years. Yet the flow of labor, the rhythm of lifting, setting, carving, and adjusting creates a comforting constancy. There is no sudden rush, no chaos, only the measured persistence of thousands of hands working toward a single vision. You can almost imagine standing quietly on the edge of the site, inhaling the earthy scent, listening to the echo of tools and voices, and feeling the steady pulse of creation around you. Even the smallest details are attended to with care. Decorative elements, reliefs, and niches are carved slowly, their surfaces smoothed, their proportions measured with precision. Every line, every curve, every corner is designed to create harmony, to guide the eye, and to communicate power without aggression. The Colosseum is becoming not only a place of spectacle but a work of art, a meditation in stone and timber, intended to last through centuries and witness both glory and decay. And as the day ends, as shadows lengthen and the workers pause, the Colosseum begins to emerge in its full grandeur. The foundation lies strong, the arches rise, the corridors wind, and the upper tiers hint at the vast audiences they will one day hold. Even at this stage, the scale is breathtaking, the effort enormous, and the vision clear. Each stone, each beam, each rope carries a quiet promise that this structure will endure, that it will be admired, feared, and eventually, like all things, partially lost. But for now, in the calm of the late afternoon light, it is whole, magnificent, and nearly silent. A sleeping giant ready to awaken in the centuries to come. Stepping fully inside the Colosseum, imagine yourself moving through the vast corridors as the morning light filters gently through the arches. The scent of warm stone and fresh plaster mingles with the faint, lingering aroma of olive oil lamps, creating a sense of calm and timelessness. You are surrounded by massive walls, perfectly aligned and carefully constructed, each stone fitting snugly against the next. There is no rush here, only a quiet invitation to wander slowly, to observe, and to let your mind drift along with the rhythm of the structure itself. Even the smallest sound seems amplified, echoing softly through the tunnels and walkways, adding a gentle heartbeat to the silence. The arena itself stretches before you, a wide expanse of sand, perfectly leveled and meticulously maintained. It is an empty stage, but the imagination fills it easily with the sounds and movements of those who will one day gather. You can picture the clatter of sandals, the rustle of tunics, the soft murmur of conversation from the upper tiers, all blending into a serene hum. The amphitheater is organized in almost meditative order. The lowest tiers for senators, magistrates, and the elite, the middle tiers for citizens, the upper levels for commoners and women, rising like gentle steps toward the sky. Each row of stone seats is carved with care, designed to support not only thousands of bodies, but also the rhythm of the crowds, their patterns of movement, and the flow of energy that will fill the space during games. Walking slowly along the corridors beneath the seating, you notice the careful design of passageways and staircases. They twist and turn gracefully, leading spectators efficiently to their assigned seats. There's a balance here, a harmony that feels almost musical, as if each curve, each turn, each arch contributes to a subtle orchestration of space. You feel the calm patience of the builders in every detail. The smoothness of the stone walls, the evenness of the steps, the slight incline that ensures easy movement. It is a place created not only to host events, but also to comfort, guide, and quietly impress everyone who enters. The arches that surround the arena rise steadily, forming a rhythmic pattern that draws the eye upward. Each arch is not merely structural, but decorative, a combination of strength and beauty that will endure through the centuries. Sunlight pours through these openings, creating patches of warmth on the stone floors and casting long, gentle shadows that move slowly as the day progresses. Some arches house statues of gods and heroes, frozen in stone, but almost alive in the way the light caresses their forms. These figures are positioned with thought and care, visible yet understated, offering quiet reminders of the cultural and spiritual life that permeates the Colosseum even in its emptiness. Imagine the gentle hum of activity in preparation for an event. Workers move along the corridors, carrying baskets of sand to adjust the arena floor, sweeping and leveling it with slow, deliberate movements. The smell of fresh timber rises from construction of temporary seating and staging areas. Some men climb ladders, checking beams that will later support the velarium, the vast canvas awning that shades spectators. The movement is fluid, calm, and almost hypnotic, a careful choreography designed to transform raw materials into a living, breathing amphitheater. As you rise to the seating tiers, you feel a shift in perspective. From this vantage point, the scale of the Colosseum becomes clearer. The arena stretches wide below, and the corridors twist and coil like veins beneath your feet. The upper tiers rise far above, their wooden structures and stonework forming a crown that once allowed every spectator, regardless of status, to witness the events below. Even now, before crowds arrive, there's a sense of anticipation woven into the architecture, a quiet tension that hints at the life the building will hold. You sense the invisible patterns of movement, the flow of spectators, the silent pulse of human presence yet to come. In the center of the arena, the sand feels soft beneath your imaginary feet. You can almost hear the whisper of footsteps across it, the soft impact of performer entering, or the low rumble of animals being guided through trapdoors in the floor. The hypogeum, a labyrinth of tunnels, cages, and machinery beneath the sand, lies hidden from view, but you can sense its intricate complexity. It is a hidden world of calm preparation, of mechanisms that will bring life and spectacle above, yet remain almost entirely unseen. Each pulley, each gate, each chamber is perfectly aligned, designed for efficiency and subtlety, creating a delicate balance between what is visible and what remains concealed. Imagine walking perimeter of the arena, running your fingers along the smooth edges of the walls, feeling the cold solidity of the stone. Every surface is carefully finished, every corner precisely measured, every arch perfectly aligned. The labor of countless hands, the patience of engineers, and the vision of emperors converge here, forming a space that is both monumental and intimate. It is easy to lose track of time in such a place, to let the mind drift among the arches, corridors, and seating tiers, to imagine the centuries yet to come when the missing parts will vanish and the ruins will tell their own story. The light continues to shift, moving slowly across the arena floor and climbing the seating tiers. Shadows stretch, then shorten, as if the building itself is breathing gently with the sun. You can imagine the way early spectators would have been bathed in sunlight as they settled into their seats, or how the velarium, when unfurled, would have cast a soft, moving shade over the upper tiers. Everything is designed for comfort, for clarity, for an experience that is simultaneously grand and deeply personal. Each detail contributes to the quiet, flowing rhythm of the space. As you wander further, you notice the subtle imperfections that make the Colosseum feel alive. Slight variations in the stone, faint marks from the chisels of builders long gone, the gentle wear of countless footsteps over centuries. All these details add texture to the calm, meditative environment. They remind you that while the Colosseum is a product of careful planning, it is also a living place, one that will interact with people, weather, and time around it. Even before the crowds arrive, even before the missing sections begin to disappear, there's a sense of impermanence embedded in perfection. From the highest tiers, looking down, you can almost see the future unfold in slow motion. The arena will host countless events, each leaving subtle traces on the stone. Spectators will cheer, animals will move through the sand, performers will enter and exit, and the invisible machinery below will rise and fall in perfect timing. The Colosseum is alive with potential, vibrating with energy that is calm yet palpable. Every tier, every corridor, every arch contributes to a sense of completeness that will later be contrasted by the parts that are lost, the stones that fall, the upper levels that crumble. In this quiet, immersive walk through completed amphitheater, you feel a deep appreciation for the scale and complexity of what the Romans achieved. The Colosseum is not only a place of spectacle, but a meditation in stone, wood, and sand, a careful orchestration of labor, vision, and time. It stands as a reminder that every missing stone, every lost level, every vanished corridor once existed here, solid and real, carrying the weight of human ambition, creativity, and the quiet dignity of careful craftsmanship. And as you pause for a moment in this imagined space, let your eyes drift across the arches, the corridors, and the tiers, you can almost sense the slow, patient pulse of history beginning to unfold. As you look upward toward the highest levels of the Colosseum, a sense of delicate grandeur takes hold. The uppermost tiers, once fully intact, stretch far above the main arena, forming what many Romans call the crown of the amphitheater. These were the places where ordinary citizens, women, and children gathered, perched high on wooden benches that creaked slightly under their weight. Today, when we visit the ruins, these sections are gone, lost to time, fire, and decay, but in your imagination, they rise clearly, balanced carefully on the stone framework below, a fragile yet commanding presence against the sky. The air here is cooler, lighter, carrying whispers of the countless lives that once filled these heights, each voice adding to the hum of anticipation that seems to linger even now. Imagine walking up the narrow staircases that wind between the tiers, worn smooth by centuries of feet. Each step brings you closer to the upper reaches, and with every movement, the scale of the amphitheater becomes more apparent. From this vantage point, the arena below stretches like a carefully painted stage, its sand gleaming softly in the light. The crowd would have felt removed, almost floating above the action, yet intimately connected to the events unfolding beneath them. The engineers of the time understood the importance of these upper levels. They were not mere extensions of seating, but carefully calculated spaces that balanced structural weight, provided breathtaking views, and allowed the Colosseum to accommodate tens of thousands of people at once. These upper levels were constructed with a combination of lighter stone and wood, a choice that allowed the building to rise higher without compromising stability. The wooden seating, though less permanent than marble, was carefully fitted into the stone skeleton below, creating an almost invisible integration of materials. From a distance, the tiers would have appeared seamless, each level rising confidently above the next. The careful placement of beams, supports, and brackets ensured that the weight of the spectators would be distributed evenly, while the open arches allowed air and light to flow freely, preventing the upper galleries from becoming oppressive or uncomfortable. As you step into the imagined spaces, you might notice how exposed these upper levels feel. Unlike the lower tiers, shaded by arches and walls, here the wind brushes freely against your face, carrying with its sense of surrounding city, the distant markets, and the gardens that once encircled the amphitheater. The exposure adds a quiet thrill to the experience. To sit here was to feel close to the sky, to sense the vastness of the city and the arena below, to witness the spectacle while suspended between earth and air. This openness, however, also made the upper levels particularly vulnerable to damage over time. Fires, storms, and earthquakes would eventually take their toll, and these sections, once lively and crowded, now exist only in imagination and in the careful sketches of ancient observers. The experience of sitting in these seats was also one of social perspective. From the top, you could watch the activity below, seeing the layers of society unfold in concentric circles. Senators and magistrates in their reserved seats, citizens in the middle tiers, the common people above, all connected through sight lines and sound, yet separated by the deliberate gradations of rank and privilege. The distance from the action made the view contemplative, a place to observe, reflect, and participate silently in the shared energy of the event. It was a space both communal and personal, where spectators could feel part of the city's heartbeat while enjoying a measured detachment. Walking along the wooden benches in your imagination, you might sense the creak of the boards beneath your weight, the subtle shifting as dozens of people adjusted to find comfort. Every detail was considered. The spacing of the seating, the height of the steps, the incline of the galleries. Even the arrangement of entrances and exits was meticulously planned, allowing people to move efficiently, to enter and leave without disturbing the overall flow. From these heights, the amphitheater seemed like a living organism, each part supporting the next, each element contributing to the harmony of the whole. Above and around you, the open sky frames the edges of the Colosseum. Imagine the way sunlight would shift over the upper levels as the day progressed, casting patterns of light and shadow across the seats and corridors. Birds may drift lazily between arches, occasionally landing on the stone or wooden railings, adding a quiet sense of life to the already vibrant structure. The wind carries the distant sounds of preparation from the lower arenas. Workers moving props, animals being guided into place, the murmur of early spectators finding their seats. From the heights, these sounds are softened, distant, almost dreamlike, blending into the calm atmosphere of the space. It is easy to see why these upper levels are considered lost today. Wooden structures are impermanent, particularly when exposed to rain, sun, and centuries of neglect. Earthquakes and fires claimed large sections, and over time, the stone supports themselves were cannibalized for other buildings. Yet in your imagination, the tiers rise fully, complete with their intricate network of beams, walkways, and railings. You can almost feel the sense of vertigo, the thrill of height, and the gentle sway of the wooden planks beneath your feet. It is a space both vulnerable and majestic, a delicate crown that once defined the profile of the Colosseum and contributed so much to its overall grandeur. From these heights, one can also appreciate the engineering genius embedded in the Colosseum's design. Every beam, every bracket, every joint was carefully calculated to carry not just weight, but also the dynamic movement of thousands of spectators. The open arches of the upper tiers were part of a system that ensured ventilation and light while maintaining structural integrity. Even the slightest miscalculation could have led to collapse, and yet, for decades, these sections stood proud, testament to Roman skill, patience, and ingenuity. They were a remarkable blend of functionality and elegance, crafted with the care of both engineers and artists. As the sun begins to lower in the sky, the shadows stretch across the upper galleries, creating a tapestry of light and darkness that shifts gently with the passage of time. The air cools, carrying faint scents of stone, dust, and distant flowers from nearby gardens. Sitting quietly in these imagined seats, you can feel the rhythm of the Colosseum as a living entity. The stone beneath, the wood above, the wind passing through, and the distant echoes of human activity, all combining to create a subtle, soothing pulse. It is here, in these vanished heights, that the delicate beauty of what was lost becomes most apparent. Though absent today, these upper levels once shaped the perception, experience, and spirit of the amphitheater, completing the structure in ways that are both tangible and almost poetic. And so, standing or sitting in these imagined upper galleries, you begin to sense the interplay between presence and absence. The upper tiers remind us of fragility and impermanence, even within the most enduring of monuments. They invite reflection on what has vanished, and yet they also celebrate what remains. The skill, vision, and patience of those who built a crown that once glimmered in the Roman sun and allowed every citizen a place, a perspective, and a connection to the heart of their city. Here, at the edge of the structure, high above the arena floor, the Colosseum feels complete, alive, and poised, a quiet monument to what was, and a gentle prelude to what we slowly lost to history. From the heights of the upper tiers, your gaze begins to wander across the entirety of the Colosseum, and it is impossible not to notice the elegance of the arches, the gentle symmetry of the walls, and the rhythm of repetition that holds the structure together like a carefully composed melody. The arches, perfectly spaced and rising steadily toward the sky, create not only visual harmony but also structural strength. Each one supports the next, distributing the immense weight of stone and wood with a quiet efficiency that feels almost magical. In the calm of your imagination, you can hear the soft hum of air moving through these openings, carrying distant sounds from the city, the arena below, and even the faint echoes of centuries yet to come. There is a soothing cadence to the design, a quiet reassurance that the building will endure. Walking along the curved corridors that ring the Colosseum, you notice the subtle changes in texture and tone. The lower arches are smooth and polished, crafted from travertine and carefully finished to catch the light. The upper arches, built with lighter stone and wood, feel slightly rougher but no less deliberate. Each layer of the amphitheater has its own character, its own rhythm, creating a sensory tapestry that draws the eye and calms the mind. Even the missing sections, now only imagined, add a sense of depth, reminding you that architecture is not just what stands before you, but also what's been quietly removed by time, weather, and human intervention. The corridors themselves are narrow yet expansive, an architectural paradox that invites slow exploration. You can feel the coolness of stone under your fingertips, the slight unevenness of centuries-old masonry, the faint echo of your footsteps bouncing softly against the walls. Every corner, every turn, every passage has a purpose: to guide, to protect, to awe. Even in their simplicity, these spaces create a rhythm that mirrors the natural cadence of the human body: steps, breaths, heartbeats, blending with the larger rhythm of the Colosseum itself. It is a place that encourages reflection, patience, and calm observation, a perfect companion for a slow, meditative journey through history. As you move deeper, the faint traces of what was once elaborate decoration begin to appear. Niches that once held statues of gods and emperors now lie empty, but you can imagine their presence. The soft curves of marble, the delicate detailing, the subtle expressions that conveyed authority, grace, and reverence. Each empty niche tells a story of absence as much as presence, a quiet reminder that even the grandest creations are subject to change. The missing statues, like the vanished upper tiers, leave space for imagination, inviting you to fill the gaps with your mind, to breathe life into what no longer exists. Imagine now the arena floor below. From the corridors above, it stretches wide, smooth, and prepared for events that will fill the amphitheater with energy and motion. The sand, carefully leveled, absorbs sound and light, softening the movements of both humans and animals. Beneath it, the hypogym lies hidden, a labyrinth of tunnels, cages, and mechanisms designed to create the surprise, drama, and spectacle that define the games. From your vantage point in the corridors, you sense the quiet power of this hidden world, the controlled energy waiting to be unleashed. Even now, in this calm, imagined moment, the air seems to hum with anticipation, a gentle pulse that mirrors the heartbeat of the building itself. You move along a spiral ramp that curves gracefully around the interior, allowing spectators to ascend to higher tiers without disruption. The design is meticulous, ensuring smooth flow even when the amphitheater is at full capacity. Each step is measured, each incline intentional, guiding the body and the mind in a deliberate rhythm. You notice the way the light filters through the upper arches, casting long shadows across the stone floors, highlighting subtle textures and creating a sense of depth. The interplay of light and shadow is hypnotic, a visual lullaby that draws attention to the beauty of simplicity and precision. As you reach the upper corridors again, the imagination begins to fill in the missing pieces. Wooden galleries, carefully balanced once extended outward, allowing thousands more spectators to view the arena below. These structures, now long gone, would have swayed gently with the weight of the crowd, producing faint creaks and whispers of movement. The very idea of these temporary extensions add a layer of dynamism to the otherwise permanent stone, a reminder that architecture is as much about adaptability as it is about endurance. The Colosseum was alive in its design, not static, responding to the needs of the people and the spectacle it contained. Walking slowly through the arches, you notice how the building guides your vision. Your gaze is drawn naturally from the intricate corridors to the vast open arena, then outward through the arches to the city beyond. From here, you can imagine seeing the hills of Rome rising in the distance, the Tiber River winding gently through the landscape, the early morning markets beginning their slow rhythm of trade. The amphitheater frames the city as much as it contains it, creating a dialogue between human achievement and the natural world. Even the missing sections of stone will become part of this dialogue, their absence shaping your perception and inviting contemplation. The sound within the corridors is soft, yet alive. You might hear the gentle scuffle of workers' sandal, the faint whisper of wind moving through openings, the distant hum of preparations in the arena. The acoustics of the Colosseum are remarkable, designed to carry sound efficiently throughout the amphitheater. Even a whisper in the upper corridors can be heard faintly below, a subtle reminder that the building is designed for connection, for interaction, for sharing of experience. In this quiet, you can feel the Colosseum as a living space, a monument that communicates not only through sight, but through sound, rhythm, and presence. Imagine pausing in one of the larger passageways, leaning gently against a stone, and allowing your senses to take in the environment. The coolness of the walls, the faint scent of ancient materials, the gentle play of light across the surfaces, all combine to create a sense of calm meditation. Even in your imagination, the passage of centuries is almost tangible, layering memories of construction, spectators, performances, and gradual decay over the structure itself. The missing elements, upper tiers, statues, wooden galleries, hover at the edge of perception, present in their absence, guiding your imagination to reconstruct the past in slow, deliberate motion. The arches themselves offer glimpses of life beyond the amphitheater. From these open windows of stone and air, you might see the hills of Rome, the distant gardens, or the shimmering surface of water that once filled the site before the Colosseum rose from it. The contrast between the open sky and the enclosed corridors heightens your awareness of the building's scale and intention. Each arch is both boundary and gateway, framing views and directing attention, guiding your journey through space and time. Even the spaces that are missing, collapsed, or eroded now contribute to the rhythm, offering a gentle counterpoint to the solidity of the standing structure. From here, the story of what was lost begins to feel more poignant. The upper galleries, the velarium supports, the decorative statues, all were integral to the experience of the Colosseum, shaping the way light, air, and human presence interacted. Their absence is not merely architectural but experiential, altering how future generations perceive the amphitheater. Yet even in their loss, there's a quiet beauty. The missing pieces invite imagination, patience, and reflection, turning absence into a gentle meditation on the passage of time, the resilience of stone, and the impermanence of human creation. As you slowly descend the corridors again, returning toward the lower arches in the arena, you carry with you the sense of scale, rhythm, and history that defines the Colosseum. The arches, corridors, and upper galleries form a network of calm, flowing spaces that invite slow movement, quiet observation, and a deep appreciation of human effort and architectural vision. Even in the ruins, even with missing parts, the amphitheater speaks to endurance, creativity, and a delicate balance between permanence and transience. Every stone, every opening, every vanished detail contributes to a sense of wonder, a gentle narrative that unfolds not in words, but in presence, rhythm, and reflection. From the corridors and arches, your gaze drifts naturally to the arena itself, the central stage where the stories of the Colosseum unfolded. The sand stretches wide and even, its surface soft and warm beneath imagined footsteps, inviting the mind to wander slowly through scenes of preparation and anticipation. The arena was not merely a floor for spectacle. It was a carefully designed environment, layered with both visible and hidden complexity. Beneath the sand lies the hypogeum, a vast network of tunnels, chambers, and trapdoors that allow performers, animals, and scenery to appear with precision and dramatic timing. Though hidden from the audience, these subterranean spaces are essential, giving life and surprise to everything above. In your mind's eye, you can hear the soft echoes of workers guiding cages, lifting platforms, and preparing the mechanisms that will transform the arena into a living stage. The hypogeum itself is a wonder of engineering and subtle artistry. Imagine long corridors illuminated by narrow shafts of light, their walls lined with carefully placed stone and wooden supports. Cages for exotic animals rest quietly in their spaces, awaiting release into the arena above. Trapdoors and lifts are positioned with meticulous accuracy, ready to elevate performers, props, or beasts at precisely the right moment. Even now, in this calm, imagined space, there's a quiet hum of potential energy, a sense of anticipation woven into the very stones. The hypogeum is the heart beneath the visible grandeur, the hidden rhythm that animates the spectacle without drawing attention to itself. Walking above the hypogeum, the arena floor is smooth, level, and perfectly prepared for performance. The sand absorbs sound and light, creating a soft, muted environment that both conceals and cushions. Imagine the faint marks of footsteps already pressed into the surface, remnants of earlier rehearsals or the movement of preparatory staff. Every grain of sand is carefully laid, a subtle layer that enhances the experience for both performers and spectators. The arena is designed to be forgiving yet precise, a space where timing, movement, and spectacle can coexist in harmony. The layout of the Colosseum itself contributes to the atmosphere. The oval shape ensures that no spectator is ever far from the action, that every seat, whether in the lower marble tiers or the upper wooden galleries, maintains connection to the arena below. The slopes and inclines of the seating are carefully calculated, guiding both sightlines and sound. You can imagine the gentle murmur of conversation spreading across the tiers as the audience waits, the collective breath held in quiet anticipation. Even before the games begin, there is an almost meditative rhythm to the space, a subtle pulse that flows through stone, sand, and air alike. As you drift along the edges of the arena, the mechanisms beneath the floor seem almost alive. Lifting platforms, hidden levers, and concealed gates all work in unison, controlled by skilled operators who move with careful precision. These unseen hands create the illusion of spontaneity, making animals appear suddenly or performers emerge as if by magic. Even in this imagined moment of calm, the hypogeum exerts a gentle influence, a reminder that much of the Colosseum's grandeur depended on hidden structures, carefully balanced and silently powerful. The missing sections of the arena, lost to time, were often those above the hypogeum, the intricate wooden platforms, staging areas, and temporary galleries that allowed the space to expand and contract according to the needs of the day. Their absence now creates a subtle emptiness, a gap in both architecture and imagination. Yet their design can still be sensed in the careful proportions of the remaining stone. The surrounding walls of the arena rise in smooth, elegant curves, forming a protective and visual barrier between the spectators and the activity below. These walls were not only functional but symbolic, representing the separation between the performers, the spectacle, and the audience. Carved niches, decorative reliefs, and subtle inscriptions once lined the walls, their artistry adding a quiet layer of beauty to the functional structure. Imagine running your fingers lightly over the stone, feeling the textures of smooth marble and rougher limestone, sensing the care and skill that went into each placement. Every curve, every angle, every layer of stone contributes to the calm yet commanding presence of the Colosseum, a space where utility and aesthetics coexist seamlessly. Looking upward from the arena, the missing upper tiers become more apparent. In their absence, the scale of the remaining structure is highlighted, revealing the monumental effort required to build the amphitheater. You can imagine the once grand wooden galleries, the extensions that allowed thousands more spectators to witness the spectacle, swaying gently in the breeze, absorbing the weight and energy of human presence. Their disappearance over time has left a subtle void, a silent testament to both the fragility and resilience of human construction. Even without them, however, the Colosseum retained its dignity, its rhythm, and its sense of awe-inspiring proportion. The arena was not only a physical space, but also a sensory one. Imagine the subtle sounds that filled it. The scrape of armor, the shuffle of feet on sand, the distant echo of voices from the upper galleries, and the quiet mechanical movements from below. These sounds blended into a gentle, continuous rhythm, creating an immersive environment that engaged every sense. Even without the roar of the crowd, the Colosseum communicates a calm energy, a measured heartbeat of human presence and anticipation. The missing parts of the amphitheater, while absent, can be imagined through these sounds, allowing the mind to reconstruct the fullness of experience that once existed. Walking slowly around the perimeter of the arena, you notice how light plays across the surface of the sand and the stone. Sunlight filters through the arches, shifting with the passage of time, creating moving patterns of brightness and shadow. The interplay of light and architecture enhances the sense of depth and scale, drawing attention to the careful balance of the amphitheater's design. Even the lost sections of the Colosseum are suggested here, their presence implied by the way shadows fall, by the alignment of remaining stones, and by the gentle slopes that once led to upper galleries. The mind can easily fill these gaps, imagine complete, intact grandeur as it might have appeared centuries ago. From this calm, elevated perspective, the entire arena becomes a meditative space. The combination of structure, hidden machinery, sand, and light creates a rhythm that is both soothing and awe-inspiring. You can almost sense the presence of history, the echo of thousands of spectators, performers, and workers who contributed to the life of the Colosseum over time. The missing sections, while absent in reality, exist in memory and imagination, reminding you of the delicacy of human achievement, the passage of time, and the quiet persistence of architectural beauty. Pausing for a moment, you breathe in the imagined air, warm from the sand and cool through the arches. The arena feels both intimate and immense, a stage for human ambition, skill, and ritual. The design of the Colosseum guides your gaze, your steps, and even your thoughts, creating a gentle, meditative rhythm that encourages calm observation. It is easy to imagine the future collapse of the upper galleries, the loss of wooden structures, and the erosion of decoration. Yet in this moment, the arena remains complete, serene, and fully alive, a place where the missing parts are still present in the mind, where history and imagination merge seamlessly. As you step away from the center of the arena, your attention drifts toward the surrounding corridors and service areas, spaces that were once alive with quiet preparation and careful orchestration. These passageways, often overlooked by casual visitors, are the hidden veins of the Colosseum, carrying energy, motion, and purpose to every corner of the amphitheater. Imagine the soft sound of footsteps echoing against stone walls, the faint creak of wooden doors, and the rhythmic clatter of tools as workers prepare for an event. Even now, in this calm, imagined state, there is a sense of organized movement, a delicate choreography that brings the amphitheater to life long before the crowds arrive. Beneath the arena floor lies the hypogeum, a hidden world that orchestrates the drama above. Imagine the dimly lit corridors, lined with stone walls and wooden beams, creating a network of cages, elevators, and trapdoors. These spaces were designed with careful precision, each chamber tailored to the needs of animals, performers, and stage machinery. The faint creak of pulleys and the subtle thrum of mechanisms set a quiet rhythm that resonates upward, unseen but felt, animating the arena floor with unseen energy. In this calm exploration, you can sense how every detail, every movement, every mechanism contributes to the seamless spectacle above. The hypogeum itself is a testament to Roman ingenuity. Chambers for exotic animals, from lions to elephants, are carefully arranged to allow quick and dramatic entrances into the arena. Lifting platforms, controlled by skilled operators, rise with surprising precision, delivering performers and scenery to the stage with almost magical timing. Imagine watching the slow rise of a platform, the gentle hum of ropes and levers, the careful coordination that transforms hidden potential into visible spectacle. Even in this quiet, imagined moment, the hypogeum hums with life, its energy subdued yet palpable, a reminder that what is hidden can be just as essential as what is seen. Above the hypogeum, the arena floor stretches like a soft golden blanket, absorbing sound, guiding movement and concealing the machinery below. Its sand is leveled meticulously, each grain placed with purpose, creating a forgiving surface that enhances both performance and safety. Imagine stepping lightly across it, feeling the subtle give beneath your feet, the warm texture of the sand, the faint imprint of past rehearsals. The arena is a space of calm anticipation, designed to support the rhythm of movement, the flow of energy, and the quiet pulse of human and animal activity that will soon fill it. Surrounding the arena, the walls rise steadily, guiding both sight and sound. Carved niches once held statues of gods, heroes, and notable figures, each positioned to inspire awe and reflection. Though many of these statues are long gone, their presence can still be imagined in the shadows, the spaces they once occupied marked subtly by the stone. The combination of solid structure and decorative artistry creates a soothing rhythm, a gentle visual pattern that leads the eye around the amphitheater and toward the arena below. Even the missing elements, absent though they are, shape the perception of the space, inviting quiet reflection on what has been lost and what endures. Moving along the perimeter, you notice the careful planning of entrances and exits. Vomitoria, the wide corridors that allowed spectators to enter and exit efficiently, are a marvel of design. Imagine the slow, deliberate flow of people, guided by gentle inclines and smooth walls, moving almost effortlessly through the amphitheater. These spaces, designed for movement, create a calming sense of order and structure, balancing the energy of the arena with the stillness of the passageways. Even when empty, they convey the intention of thoughtful design, a quiet harmony that speaks to the care invested in every detail of the Colosseum. The upper corridors, though partially lost to time, once connected the upper tiers seamlessly with the rest of the amphitheater. Wooden galleries and walkways, carefully integrated into the stone framework, allowed thousands of spectators to reach their seats safely and comfortably. Imagine walking these corridors in your mind, feeling the gentle sway of what beneath your feet, the cool air flowing through open arches, and the soft echo of distant preparation. The absence of these upper structures today highlights their importance, their presence once adding both function and grace to the overall experience. Even in imagination, their rhythm can be felt, a subtle heartbeat guiding the flow of movement and attention. The arches that frame the corridors provide both light and structure. Sunlight filters through them, casting shifting patterns across the stone floors and walls. These beams of light move slowly as the day progresses, creating a meditative dance of brightness and shadow. Imagine pausing in one of these arches, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, hearing the faint echoes of unseen activity, and sensing the calm order of the amphitheater. The rhythm of light, shadow, and space works together with the architecture to create a gentle, immersive experience, guiding the mind toward reflection and relaxation. Even in the absence of crowds, the Colosseum hums with potential energy. Every corridor, every chamber, every arch and beam contributes to a quiet, steady rhythm, a sense of anticipation waiting to be realized. The missing sections, the wooden galleries, upper seating, and decorative elements, are absent physically but present in memory and imagination, allowing the mind to reconstruct the full experience. Their absence enhances awareness, inviting a deeper connection with the spaces that remain and the ingenuity of those who built them. Imagine the gentle sound of preparation echoing softly through the corridors, a faint shuffle of sand, the creak of pulleys, the soft murmur of distant voices. These sounds, though imagined, create a calm auditory landscape, complementing the visual rhythm of stone, arches, and passageways. Each sound carries with the weight of intention, the precision of human effort, and the quiet energy that animates the space even in stillness. It is a soothing reminder that the Colosseum is more than stone and wood. It is a living composition of movement, sound, and anticipation. Finally, as you pause at the edge of the corridors and look once more toward the arena, a sense of harmony emerges. The hypogeum below, the arena floor, the walls, arches, and passageways all work together to create a space that is both functional and meditative, grand yet intimate. Even the lost sections, imagined or partially visible in ruins, contribute to the rhythm and flow of the amphitheater. They remind us of impermanence, patience, and the subtle beauty of design that accommodates both spectacle and quiet reflection. Here, in these hidden corridors, the Colosseum feels whole, alive with both presence and absence, and perfectly suited for slow exploration and gentle contemplation. From the corridors and arches, your gaze drifts naturally upward toward the remnants of the upper walls, the spaces where the missing parts of the Colosseum once soared. In their absence, the scale of the remaining structure becomes even more striking, a reminder of the ambition and vision required to construct such a monumental amphitheater. Imagine walking along the edge of one of the upper terraces, feeling the warmth of sun-warmed stone beneath your fingertips, the breeze gently brushing against your face. The arches rise rhythmically, some fully intact, others fractured or missing, yet together they form a harmonious sequence that guides the eye and invites reflection. Even as pieces of history are lost, the remaining architecture whispers stories of both grandeur and fragility. As you move along, notice the subtle interplay of light and shadow. Sunlight filters through the open arches, casting gentle, shifting patterns across the floors and walls. The shadows stretch and contract slowly as the day passes, creating a dynamic, meditative rhythm that fills the space with quiet energy. Each arch, each column, each gap tells a story. The solid stones speak of permanence, while the missing sections remind us of time, decay, and the ephemeral nature of human creations. The contrast between what remains and what is absent encourages a gentle, immersive observation, allowing the mind to wander slowly through history, while feeling grounded in the present moment. The upper galleries, now partially lost, once accommodated thousands of spectators who sat perched above the arena floor. These spaces were constructed with lighter materials, mainly wood, carefully integrated into the stone framework to reduce weight while providing additional capacity. Imagine walking through these imagined wooden walkways, feeling the slight give beneath your feet, hearing the soft creak of boards under the weight of imagined spectators. Even without the crowd, the rhythm of the space is palpable, a steady, measured pulse created by design, supporting movement, perspective, and human connection. It is a place where structure, motion, and anticipation converge in subtle harmony. Looking down from these heights, the arena appears vast yet intimate, an environment carefully shaped to focus attention while absorbing energy. The sand below glows softly in the filtered light, smooth and inviting. Beneath it, the hypogeum stretches like a quiet, hidden organism, a network of tunnels, cages, and pulleys orchestrating everything that will appear above. The subtle hum of imagined mechanisms, the slow movement of lifts, and the whisper of ropes create a quiet, soothing rhythm, a heartbeat that resonates through the arena and into the surrounding corridors. Even absent the performers and spectators, the Colosseum feels alive, gently pulsing with the anticipation of events yet to unfold. The missing upper tiers also alter perception of scale, making the amphitheater feel simultaneously expansive and intimate. Where once there were rows upon rows of spectators, now open sky and empty space provide a sense of calm, an invitation to pause and reflect. The mind fills in the gaps, imagining the movement, the sounds, and the energy that once occupied these heights. Even in absence, the upper sections remain integral to the rhythm of the Colosseum, guiding perspective, shaping visual balance, and enhancing the sense of immersion. Their loss is felt not as emptiness, but as a subtle invitation to contemplation and imagination. As you continue, notice the careful engineering that supports these upper reaches. Stone arches, iron clamps, and wooden beams combine to create stability, balance, and longevity. Each element was placed with precision, each connection carefully measured, ensuring that even thousands of spectators above would not compromise the structure. From this vantage point, you can appreciate the genius of Roman engineering, a seamless integration of materials, geometry, and human understanding that allows the Colosseum to endure through centuries of use, neglect, and natural disasters. The rhythm of design and construction, though now silent, resonates through every remaining stone, every partially collapsed arch, every faint trace of wooden support. The arches themselves form a visual cadence that is both soothing and commanding. Their repetition, rising from ground to sky, creates a sense of balance and harmony. Imagine pausing at one of the open arches, letting your eyes follow the curve of stone, the shadows stretching gently across the floor, the distant view of the city beyond. Each opening frames a moment in space, capturing the interplay of light, air, and perspective. Even missing arches, represented only by absence, maintain the rhythm, drawing attention to the continuity of design and the careful thought that went into every element of the Colosseum. Moving through imagined corridors that once connected the upper tiers, the sense of quiet preparation is ever present. Imagine workers tending to the wooden seating, adjusting supports, tightening ropes, and checking the stability of beams. The soft creak of wood, the gentle scrape of tools against stone, and the muted echoes of movement create a rhythm that is almost hypnotic. These corridors, though now empty, were integral to the operation of the amphitheater, facilitating the smooth movement of both spectators and staff. Even without visible activity, the pulse of the Colosseum can be felt, a gentle, meditative cadence that extends from the hypogeum below to the highest tiers above. From these heights, you can also sense the importance of the missing velarium, the massive canopy designed to shade spectators from the sun. Imagine the network of ropes, masts, and sails that once extended above the upper galleries, moving with the wind and the needs of the crowd. The velarium added a subtle layer of protection, comfort, and visual elegance, and even in its absence, its imagined presence contributes to the calm rhythm of the Colosseum. You can almost feel the tension of the ropes, the sway of the canvas, and the quiet coordination of sailors who would manage this enormous canopy. Its absence highlights the ingenuity of Roman design, while inviting reflection on impermanence and adaptation. Finally, pausing at the edge of a high terrace, the entire Colosseum can be seen as a living composition. The arches, corridors, upper galleries, arena floor, and hypogeum form a carefully balanced network of movement, light, and sound. The missing sections, though absent physically, continue to shape perception, offering spaces for imagination and reflection. From this calm vantage point, it is possible to appreciate both the enduring strength and the gentle fragility of the Colosseum. The rhythm of design, the interplay of presence and absence, and the harmony of architecture create a space that is simultaneously monumental and intimate, inviting slow exploration, quiet observation, and meditative immersion in history. As you descend from the upper terraces and return closer to the arena floor, a subtle shift in perspective occurs. The Colosseum feels more grounded now, its monumental presence surrounding you in a gentle embrace. The arches, corridors, and walls create a rhythm of space that is simultaneously calming and awe-inspiring. Walking slowly along the perimeter of the arena, you notice the way light falls across the remaining stone, highlighting textures that were shaped by centuries of weather, human touch, and natural processes. The cracks, chips, and faint discolorations tell stories of time passing, of fires, earthquakes, and centuries of human presence. Even in decay, the structure communicates stability, endurance, and a quiet dignity that soothes the mind and guides imagination. The arena itself stretches before you like a golden expanse, the sand smooth and evenly distributed, soft under your imagined feet. Beneath it, the hypogeum lies in quiet anticipation, a hidden world of tunnels, chambers, and mechanical devices that once brought life, movement, and surprise to the spectacle above. Imagine the careful placement of cages, the precise alignment of lifts and pulleys, the faint sound of operators adjusting mechanisms. All of it choreographed with silent, patient rhythm. This hidden layer pulses quietly, creating a subtle energy that reaches upward, even in the imagined stillness of the arena. The combination of visible and hidden spaces forms a calm, immersive experience, inviting observation, reflection, and gentle meditation. Walking slowly around the edge of the arena, you notice the subtle design features that shape both function and perception. The walls curve gently, guiding the eye and creating a sense of enclosure while maintaining openness. Carved niches, though often empty today, suggest the presence of statues, symbols of power, myth, and cultural significance. Imagine the figures once housed there, gods, heroes, and notable citizens frozen in marble, observing the events below with a silent dignity. Even absent, these sculptures are present in spirit, shaping the flow of attention and adding a quiet layer of narrative to the architectural composition. The rhythm of empty niches and solid walls create a visual cadence that is both soothing and contemplative. Beneath the arena, the hypogeum continues to inspire fascination. Imagine walking through its dimly lit corridors, guided only by narrow shafts of sunlight or the soft glow of oil lamps. The tunnels stretch like veins beneath the arena floor, connecting cages, lifts, and trapdoors with precise alignment. Each chamber has its purpose, whether housing an exotic animal, storing props, or positioning performers for dramatic entrances. The mechanisms, though quiet in this imagined moment, are poised for action, a reminder of the hidden complexity that allows spectacle to unfold above. There is a rhythm here that mirrors natural patterns, a pulse of anticipation, a slow cadence of preparation, a quiet harmony of movement and timing. As you explore further, notice the careful interplay between structure and space. Stone walls provide stability, guiding weight and force, while open corridors and arches allow air, light, and movement to flow freely. Wooden platforms, long gone but easily imagined, once extended above certain sections, creating temporary seating, staging areas, or elevated walkways. These elements added flexibility and adaptability to the Colosseum, allowing it to accommodate various events and fluctuating crowds. Even absent, they leave traces in the remaining architecture, subtle cues that hint at the ingenuity of Roman design. The structure feels alive with intention, each element contributing to a seamless rhythm of presence, absence, and function. Walking along the lower corridors, you can sense the organization of movement designed for efficiency and comfort. Vomitoria, the wide passageways allowing the audience to enter and exit, are quiet now, but their rhythm is still perceptible. The gentle slope, the smooth stone, the carefully placed arches, all guide the imagined movement of crowds with minimal effort. From the upper tiers to the arena floor, every corridor was designed to accommodate thousands of spectators without confusion or disruption. Even in emptiness, these passageways carry a sense of purpose and order, a quiet reassurance that every element of the amphitheater was created with careful thought and precision. The arena floor, though empty, retains a sense of narrative. Imagine the footsteps of performers, the soft shuffle of sand, the occasional snort or paw of an animal, all coordinated to create patterns of movement visible from every tier. Beneath the sand, hidden mechanisms respond with almost imperceptible precision, lifting and lowering elements to create entrances, surprises, and dramatic moments. The rhythm of action and anticipation flows upward, reaching the spectators in subtle ways, shaping their experience without ever overwhelming them. The Colosseum is a masterclass in controlled energy, where even the quiet moments are structured, deliberate, and deeply calming. Looking outward from the arena, the upper walls and arches provide a framework that both encloses and opens a space. The arches rise and measure repetition, some intact, others missing, their absence adding contrast and texture to the visual field. Sunlight filters through these openings, casting soft patterns across the stone and sand, creating a gentle movement of light and shadow that shifts slowly as the day progresses. The combination of solid structure and empty space contributes to a meditative rhythm, guiding attention, inspiring imagination, and encouraging slow, reflective observation. Even the missing sections above, though absent, influence the experience. Imagine the wooden galleries, the velarium supports, the upper tiers filled with spectators, and the dynamic movements they would have created. Their absence is felt as a quiet pause, a space for contemplation, inviting you to imagine the full extent of the Colosseum's former grandeur. The interplay between presence and absence, between what remains and what has vanished, enhances the immersive quality of the space, providing a gentle tension that is both engaging and relaxing. It is a reminder that architecture is as much about the voids it creates as the solid forms it maintains. Pausing in a quiet corridor or leaning against a stone balustrade, you can sense the heartbeat of the Colosseum. It is a rhythm created by centuries of construction, use, decay, and imagination. The arches, corridors, arena, and hypogeum work together to create a gentle pulse, a calm flow that guides movement, attention, and thought. Even absent spectators or performers, the amphitheater retains a sense of presence, a subtle energy that invites slow exploration and meditative reflection. The missing parts, though not physically present, exist vividly in imagination, enhancing rather than detracting from the immersive experience. Finally, standing at the edge of the arena and looking across the remaining structure, the Colosseum reveals itself as a harmonious composition of stone, wood, sand, and air. Every curve, every arch, every corridor is imbued with intention and rhythm. The missing sections provide contrast, inviting the mind to fill gaps, reconstruct spaces, and meditate on impermanence. The amphitheater, both whole and incomplete, monumental yet intimate, is a space for calm exploration, quiet observation, and gentle immersion in history. The rhythm of movement, light, shadow, and imagination carries the mind effortlessly through centuries, offering a slow, soothing journey that lulls attention into reflective contemplation and meditative ease. As you step further along the perimeter of the Colosseum, the scale and intricacy of the structure continue to reveal themselves in subtle, captivating ways. Every arch, corridor, and wall seems to hum with the quiet energy of centuries past, as if the very stones remember the countless footsteps, conversations, and performances that once filled this monumental space. Even in imagined stillness, there is a rhythm that guides the mind, a gentle pulse created by careful design, by the interplay of weight and light, by the flow of air through open arches. You notice how the curves of the amphitheater, its smooth lines and subtle inclines, encourage a slow, deliberate pace, as if the building itself invites contemplation and calm reflection. The corridors that wrap around the arena are particularly mesmerizing in their understated complexity. Narrow at points, widening at others, they guide movement with a natural elegance. Imagine the echoes of footsteps from ancient spectators, their voices mingling with the soft hum of preparation beneath the arena floor. Each passageway was carefully designed to accommodate large flows of people while maintaining a sense of order and tranquility. The vomitoria, for instance, allow imagined crowds to move efficiently into and out of the amphitheater, yet they do so without haste, without chaos, their very structure fostering a sense of measured calm. Even empty, these spaces radiate quiet order, their geometry and repetition lulling the mind into a state of relaxed awareness. Beneath the arena, the hypogeum remains an unseen, yet ever-present character in this story. Its labyrinthine tunnels, cages, and platforms form the hidden engine of the Colosseum, orchestrating the movement of performers and animals with invisible precision. Imagine walking through the dimly lit corridors of the hypogeum, The soft glow of sunlight seeping through narrow shafts or the flicker of oil lamps illuminating stone walls. The mechanisms hum quietly. The lift platforms glide almost imperceptibly, and the cages for exotic animals, lions, tigers, elephants, stand ready for the drama above. There's a hypnotic rhythm here, a pattern of motion and anticipation that reaches up to the arena floor, subtly informing every movement and gaze in the amphitheater above. The arena floor itself is a space of calm tension, a gentle stage waiting for life to unfold. The sand, carefully leveled and maintained, absorbs sound and softens movement, creating a forgiving surface that enhances the grace of performers and animals alike. Imagine stepping lightly across this surface, feeling its gentle give beneath your feet, noticing the faint impressions of previous events still embedded in its golden grains. Even without the spectacle, the floor resonates with history, a quiet testament to the careful planning and attention to detail that made every event seamless and immersive. The rhythm of the arena, combined with the hidden pulses of the hypogeum below, establishes a subtle heartbeat that echoes through the corridors, arches, and terraces of the Colosseum. As you look up from the arena floor, the arches and walls frame your view in a gentle, rhythmic sequence. Some arches remain fully intact, soaring gracefully toward the sky, while others are missing or partially collapsed. This pattern of presence and absence creates a visual cadence, a gentle undulation that is both soothing and compelling. Light filters through the open spaces, casting shifting patterns of shadow across the stone, corridors, and arena floor. The movement of sunlight mirrors the slow passage of time, highlighting textures, contours, and details that might otherwise go unnoticed. The missing elements, though absent, become a canvas of the imagination, allowing your mind to reconstruct the grandeur of the Colosseum as it once stood, complete with wooden galleries, upper seating, and decorative statues. The upper tiers, though long gone, remain present in memory and imagination. Wooden galleries once extended outward, accommodating thousands of spectators, their gentle sway and soft creak a subtle rhythm that echoed to the amphitheater. From these heights, spectators would have witnessed the action below with a perspective that was both removed and intimately connected. The missing velarium, the massive canopy that shaded the upper tiers, can also be imagined, its ropes, sails, and supports forming a delicate network that responded to wind and sunlight, offering comfort and visual elegance. Even in absence, these structures contribute to the gentle pulse of the Colosseum, reminding you that architecture is both what is built and what is imagined, what endures and what is lost to time. Exploring further along the corridors and stairways, you notice the interplay of textures and materials. Smooth travertine, rougher limestone, and remaining wooden supports create a subtle tactile rhythm. Every surface, every curve, every connection was designed with purpose, balancing strength and beauty, permanence and adaptability. Imagine tracing your fingers along these stones, feeling the wear of centuries, sensing the energy of countless hands that shaped, moved, and maintained them. Even in the quiet of imagination, the design speaks, a silent lesson in patience, precision, and the delicate harmony of form and function. The arches, in particular, create a meditative cadence. Repetition and spacing guide the eye, providing a soothing visual pattern that leads attention from the arena floor outward toward the sky and the surrounding city. Some arches are open, some partially missing, their absence adding contrast and rhythm to the composition. The gentle flow of air through these openings enhances the sense of calm, carrying distant sounds and the imagined whispers of spectators. Each arch, whether complete or absent, contributes to a sense of balance and continuity, a silent orchestration of light, shadow, and perspective that invites slow, reflective observation. Even the small details, the worn steps, faint grooves in stone and traces of decorative elements, carry a quiet narrative. They speak of human presence, the passing of time, and the care invested in construction and maintenance. The Colosseum is not only a space for spectacle, but also a space for reflection, a structure that encourages mindful observation and a gentle awareness of history. Its missing parts, upper galleries, velarium, statues, are as significant as what remains, offering space for imagination, meditation, and contemplation of impermanence. This interplay between presence and absence, solid and void, creates a subtle rhythm that lulls the mind, blending attention with calm introspection. Pausing at the edge of a corridor or the rim of the arena, you can take in the full scope of the amphitheater. The arches, corridors, hypogeum, arena floor, and imagined upper tiers all merge into a harmonious composition, a space that is simultaneously monumental and intimate, structured and flowing. Even the missing sections, absent though they are, shape perception, inviting the mind to fill gaps and reconstruct the past with gentle care. The Colosseum's rhythm is a combination of light, shadow, material, sound, and absence, a carefully balanced composition that encourages a slow, immersive journey through history. Finally, as you stand in this calm, imagined space, the Colosseum feels alive with memory and potential. Its architecture, both intact and missing, guides attention, movement, and reflection, creating a meditative rhythm that blends the past with imagination. The arches, corridors, arena, and hidden hypogeum all work together, forming a subtle heartbeat that resonates through the stone and air. Even without crowds or spectacle, the amphitheater communicates a quiet, enduring energy, inviting slow exploration, gentle observation, and reflective immersion in the layered history of this extraordinary structure. It is a space of presence and absence, of endurance and impermanence, where the rhythm of architecture and imagination carries the mind effortlessly through centuries, fostering calm, curiosity, and peaceful contemplation. As you wander slowly through the remaining corridors of the Colosseum, a sense of quiet reflection takes hold. The arches, walls, and passageways guide your attention in gentle, rhythmic patterns, each step encouraging mindfulness and calm observation. Imagine the cool touch of ancient stone on your fingertips, the subtle texture of travertine and limestone smoothed by centuries of use. Every surface carries a memory, a quiet imprint of the builder's hands, the workers' tools, and the countless spectators who once filled the amphitheater with anticipation. The missing sections, particularly the upper galleries and wooden walkways, are felt as much as seen, their absence inviting your imagination to reconstruct the grandeur that time has claimed. The upper tiers, though no longer fully present, were an essential part of the Colosseum's design. Picture the wooden galleries, carefully integrated into the stone framework, providing additional seating for thousands of spectators. Their gentle sway, soft creak, and the muted murmur of the crowd would have added a subtle, almost hypnotic rhythm to the environment. Imagine walking along these imagined structures, feeling the balance and careful engineering beneath your feet, sensing the deliberate flow of movement that guided people safely to their seats. Even in absence, these upper tiers contribute to the architectural pulse, a hidden cadence that supports the rhythm of the entire amphitheater. Looking down from these imagined heights, the arena floor stretches like a golden expanse, its sands smooth and even. Beneath it, the hypogeum hums quietly, a network of tunnels, chambers, and mechanisms poised for action. Imagine precise choreography of lifts and trapdoors, the cages for exotic animals, and the hidden staging areas for performers. The subtle pulse of this hidden world resonates upward, informing every movement above, even in silence. The Colosseum is alive in its design, and the missing sections, those lost upper galleries, the velarium and decorative elements, exist in memory and imagination, shaping the experience and inviting gentle reflection. The corridors that ring the arena continue to reveal their understated complexity. Some are narrow, winding, and intimate, encouraging slow, deliberate movement. Others open into larger spaces, their vaulted ceilings and repeating arches creating a soothing cadence that guides attention and calms the mind. The vomitoria, though empty, still convey a sense of orderly movement, allowing the mind to imagine crowds flowing smoothly through these passageways. The rhythm of these spaces, between confinement and openness, shadow and light, is subtle yet powerful, inviting a meditative exploration of structure, function, and history. The arches themselves create a hypnotic visual pattern. Rising in measured repetition, they frame views of the arena, corridors, and distant city beyond. Some arches are intact, while others are partially collapsed or missing entirely, creating contrast that enhances their visual rhythm. Sunlight filters through these openings, casting long, shifting shadows across the stone and sand, emphasizing texture and depth. The play of light and shadow, combined with the alternating presence and absence of arches, forms a calm, meditative visual cadence that draws the mind into quiet observation. Even what is lost contributes to the harmony, shaping perception and inviting imagination to fill in the gaps. Walking through the lower corridors, The attention to detail becomes apparent. The walls bear subtle traces of construction techniques, from precisely cut blocks to the iron clamps that hold the stones together. Imagine tracing these elements with your fingers, feeling the craftsmanship and care that went into every corner, every connection. Even small irregularities, where from centuries of footsteps or faint remnants of decorative carving, tell a story of human ingenuity and endurance. These details, though often overlooked, create a subtle rhythm, a tactile pulse that complements the visual cadence of arches, corridors, and arena floor. The interplay of presence and absence continues to shape the Colosseum's character. Imagine the upper galleries, velarium, and decorative statues, all missing yet present in memory. Their absence creates space for imagination, allowing the mind to reconstruct the amphitheater in its full historical glory. The missing elements also create contrast, emphasizing the remaining structure's solidity, scale, and elegance. Walking slowly through this imagined reconstruction, the rhythm of design, light, shadow, and material becomes a gentle guide, leading the observer through a layered narrative of creation, use, decay, and reflection. Even the hidden hypogeum beneath the arena contributes to this meditative rhythm. Its tunnels and chambers are quiet, yet they hum with potential energy. Imagine the lifts moving smoothly, the cages poised for action, and the subtle orchestration performers, animals, and scenery. The invisible choreography beneath the arena informs the calm, deliberate flow of events above. In this quiet contemplation, one can sense the genius of Roman engineering, the combination of visible spectacle and hidden complexity, the integration of movement, timing, and space, and the creation of an immersive, enduring experience. Even with missing sections, the rhythm of the Colosseum remains complete in imagination. The arena floor, though empty, maintains its central role in the amphitheater's spatial and sensory design. The sand absorbs sound, softens movement, and provides a subtle glow that enhances visual focus. Imagine stepping lightly across its surface, feeling the gentle give beneath your feet, noticing the faint imprints of previous performances, rehearsals, or animal movements. The arena's flat, open space contrasts beautifully with the surrounding arches, corridors, and upper tiers, creating a calm, balanced rhythm that guides attention and fosters reflective observation. The missing elements of seating and decoration enhance this effect, allowing a greater sense of spaciousness and serenity. As you move through the corridors again, the gentle play of sunlight, shadow, and texture continues to captivate. Each step becomes a quiet meditation, each turn an opportunity to observe subtle architectural details, the traces of past activity, or the elegant geometry of arches and walls. Even in absence, the upper tiers, velarium, and decorative features contribute to a sense of completeness, guiding attention and encouraging a meditative engagement with space. The Colosseum, both present and absent in different ways, offers a rhythmic, immersive experience, blending observation, imagination, and quiet reflection. Finally, pausing at the edge of an archway or balcony, the entire amphitheater can be appreciated as a harmonious composition. The arena, hypogeum, corridors, arches, and imagined upper galleries work together to create a subtle, meditative rhythm. The missing sections, though absent physically, exist vividly in memory and imagination, enhancing rather than detracting from the immersive experience. The Colosseum feels alive with quiet energy, history, and potential, inviting slow exploration, gentle observation, and reflective immersion. Its rhythm, present, and absence carry the mind effortlessly through centuries, fostering calm, curiosity, and peaceful contemplation, making it a timeless space for meditation, imagination, and quiet wonder. As you drift along the outer corridors of the Colosseum, the missing sections of the amphitheater become increasingly evident, yet their absence does not diminish the quiet beauty of the space. Instead, these gaps invite the mind to wander, to reconstruct the past, and to imagine the Colosseum as it once stood in its full grandeur. The upper galleries, once filled with wooden seating, are now largely absent, yet you can sense their presence in the rhythm of the remaining arches, the spacing of corridors, and the subtle slopes that led spectators upward. Walking slowly along these areas, it is easy to imagine the gentle creak of wood under thousands of feet, the soft murmur of anticipation, and the rustle of flowing robes as ancient spectators adjusted their positions to better view the arena below. Even in absence, these missing pieces create a space for imagination, a mental reconstruction that feels immersive, calming, and deeply reflective. The play of sunlight through the arches continues to capture attention. Each opening frames a view, some of the arena below, others of the surrounding city, and some simply of the sky beyond. As the sun moves slowly across the day, the patterns of light and shadow shift gently, casting long, flowing lines across the stone surfaces. The interplay of light and emptiness forms a rhythm, a quiet cadence that draws attention without demanding it. The missing sections of the amphitheater, particularly the upper tiers and velarium, are suggested by the shadows they would have cast, and the imagination can reconstruct them effortlessly, filling the gaps with silent meditative continuity. These absences create space for reflection, allowing one to consider both the impermanence of human creation and the enduring beauty of what remains. As you move closer to the arena floor, the contrast between presence and absence becomes more pronounced. The hypogeum beneath the sand, a hidden labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, continues to hum with imagined activity. Lifting platforms and trapdoors, though silent, suggest movement, potential, and anticipation. Imagine the quiet opening of a cage door, the soft padding of an animal's steps, or the careful guidance of a performer through a hidden corridor. Each of these elements contributes to a rhythm that reaches upward, affecting the experience of the arena above. Even in absence, the missing elements, wooden seating, upper galleries, and decorative statues, remain vital to the mental reconstruction of events, creating a layered and immersive experience that blends history, architecture, and imagination. Walking along the lower corridors, the texture and composition of materials continue to guide the eye and the mind. Smooth travertine, rough limestone, and the remnants of wooden supports create a tactile rhythm that complements the visual cadence of arches and walls. Imagine tracing a finger along these stones, feeling the subtle undulations, the faint impressions of tools, and the centuries of wear from countless footsteps. Even small details, the weathered edges of steps, the faint grooves in stone, or the subtle traces of ancient mortar, carry stories, a quiet narrative of craftsmanship, care, and human presence. These tactile rhythms enhance the meditative quality of the space, encouraging slow observation, mindful walking, and gentle reflection. The upper terraces, though largely missing, are vital to the Colosseum's spatial and sensory design. Picture the wooden galleries, imagined in place, their gentle creak under weight providing a subtle, almost hypnotic background rhythm. The velarium, though absent, can also be reconstructed in the mind, a vast canopy of fabric and rope that once shaded spectators, creating comfort and visual harmony. Even without these physical elements, their imagined presence shapes perception, contributing to a sense of balance, scale, and purpose. The rhythm of absence and imagination complements the rhythm of the remaining architecture, creating a holistic experience that is simultaneously grounded and ethereal. The arena floor, stretching smooth and even beneath your feet, continues to anchor the experience. Its sand absorbs sound, softens movement, and creates a gentle glow that enhances the visual focus of the space. Imagine the subtle impressions left by performers, animals, or workers, traces of movement frozen in time. Beneath the sand, the hypogeum orchestrates potential action, a hidden network of lifts, cages, and corridors waiting to animate the arena above. This unseen layer, combined with the imagined upper galleries and velarium, forms a subtle, continuous rhythm, a pulse of preparation and anticipation that flows through the amphitheater, even in imagined stillness. Moving through the outer corridors, the arches and openings provide a meditative visual cadence. Rising in measured repetition, they guide attention along gentle curves, framing views of both interior and exterior spaces. Some arches are intact, others partially missing, yet their rhythm remains consistent, creating a sense of harmony and balance. Light filtering through these openings shifts gradually throughout the day, highlighting textures, creating shadow patterns, and emphasizing the interplay of presence and absence. The missing upper sections, suggested by gaps and empty spaces, allow the mind to reconstruct the original design, filling in with imagination while maintaining the gentle, immersive rhythm of observation. Even the decorative elements, though often absent, leave traces that contribute to the experience. Imagine niches that once held statues of gods, heroes, or notable figures, now empty but still shaping the visual and narrative flow. Carvings and reliefs, weathered by time, hint at the artistry that complemented the architecture, adding a subtle layer of narrative and beauty. These absences, rather than diminishing the space, enhance the meditative rhythm, inviting quiet imagination, reflection, and gentle mental reconstruction of a past that was both grand and intimately human. Pausing in a quiet corridor or at the edge of a missing gallery, the Colosseum can be seen as a masterful composition of structure, rhythm, and imagination. The arena, hypogeum, corridors, arches, and upper tiers, both present and absent, create a subtle, layered pulse that guides movement, attention, and reflection. The interplay of stone, wood, light, shadow, and emptiness forms a meditative cadence, a rhythm that encourages slow observation, gentle wandering, and immersive contemplation. Even the missing sections, imagined or partially present in ruins, contribute to harmony, shaping perception and fostering a sense of calm, curiosity, and quiet wonder. Finally, standing at a vantage point overlooking the arena and corridors, the full scale of the Colosseum emerges. The arches, corridors, hypogeum, and imagined upper galleries work together as a seamless composition, each element contributing to a slow, immersive rhythm. The missing sections, rather than feeling like loss, create space for imagination, reflection, and mental reconstruction of historical grandeur. The Colosseum's rhythm, its balance of presence, absence, light, shadow, and space, carries the mind gently through centuries, offering a meditative journey into history, architecture, and the quiet persistence of human ingenuity. The amphitheater, both monumental and intimate, remains alive with memory, potential, and serene energy, inviting slow exploration, deep reflection, and peaceful immersion in its layered story. As you continue your slow journey through the Colosseum, the interplay between what remains and what is missing becomes ever more apparent. The arches, corridors, and walls stretch in rhythmic repetition, guiding your gaze, your thoughts, and even your breathing in a gentle, almost meditative cadence. The empty spaces left by missing upper galleries, fallen sections of seating, and eroded decorative elements invite your imagination to reconstruct the amphitheater in its former glory. You can almost feel the subtle energy of thousands of spectators, the rustle of garments, the shuffle of feet, and the quiet murmur of anticipation rising like a tide, though all remain silent and serene now. In this stillness, the Colosseum feels alive in a different way, a living memory that flows through stone, shadow, and imagination. The outer corridors continue to reveal their understated elegance. Smooth travertine and rougher limestone walls form a tactile rhythm that contrasts with the visual cadence of arches and niches. Imagine tracing your fingers along these ancient surfaces, feeling every imperfection and weathered edge as a mark of centuries gone by. The grooves and indentations left by builders' tools and visitors' footsteps create a subtle narrative, a quiet history embedded in the very texture of the stone. Even in imagined stillness, there is a pulse in the walls, a reminder of the careful planning and thoughtful construction that allowed this enormous structure to endure. The absence of some upper elements accentuates the enduring presence of what remains, emphasizing both resilience and impermanence. The arena floor stretches wide before you, its sand smooth and even. Beneath it, the hypogeum lies in quiet anticipation, a network of tunnels, lifts, and cages that orchestrate the drama above. Imagine the subtle hum of machinery, the slow, careful movement of pulleys, the hidden passage of animals and performers, all synchronized with invisible precision. Even in the absence of actual spectacle, the rhythm of the hypogeum infuses the space with energy. The lifts move almost imperceptibly, the trapdoors wait silently, and the cages hold a quiet potential, creating a pulse that resonates upward to the arena and terraces. This hidden rhythm forms the backbone of the Colosseum's immersive design, blending function, anticipation, and silent drama into a seamless flow of energy. The arches, rising from the ground to frame corridors, the arena and the sky beyond, create a visual cadence that is hypnotic in its regularity. Some arches are fully intact, their curves soaring gracefully and casting long, rhythmic shadows. Others are partially collapsed or entirely missing, their absence providing contrast and drawing attention to precision and elegance of the remaining architecture. Sunlight filters through the gaps, creating a dynamic interplay of light and shadow that shifts slowly throughout the day. The visual rhythm is calming, guiding the eye naturally from one detail to another, while the empty spaces invite imagination to fill in what once was. The missing upper tiers, valerium, and decorative elements are felt as much as seen, shaping perception and creating a subtle, immersive narrative. Walking along the lower corridors, the attention to design detail is palpable. The walls bear the faint marks of centuries, traces of scaffolding, the soft weathering of stone, and the occasional patch of mortar repaired long ago. Imagine running your fingers along these surfaces, sensing the hands that built, maintained, and walked them over generations. The tactile rhythm complements the visual one, combining to create a meditative cadence that encourages slow exploration. Even the missing parts of the amphitheater contribute to this rhythm. Empty spaces where galleries, wooden seats, or statues once stood invite quiet reconstruction of the mind, offering a reflective pause that blends curiosity with relaxation. The upper terraces, though largely lost, continue to influence the experience. Picture the wooden galleries that once stretched outward, accommodating thousands of spectators, each step adding a subtle, almost hypnotic rhythm to the space. The valerium, though absent, can be imagined as a massive canopy, its ropes and sails shifting with the wind and filtering sunlight for the comfort of those seated below. Even without these physical elements, their imagined presence contributes to the sense of balance and scale. The rhythm of absence and imagination flows alongside the rhythm of presence, forming a meditative cadence that encourages reflection, gentle curiosity, and immersive engagement with the amphitheater's history and design. The interplay of light and shadow enhances the immersive experience. As sunlight filters through arches and openings, it highlights textures, contours, and spaces in subtle, shifting patterns. Shadows stretch and retract slowly, tracing the gentle curves of walls, the smooth surface of the arena floor, and the remnants of upper galleries. These patterns create a visual rhythm, a calm undulation that mirrors the pulse of human presence imagined long ago. The empty areas where structures are missing become frames for imagination, allowing you to reconstruct in the mind the intricate layering of architecture, function, and human activity that once defined the Colosseum. Even the smallest details, the indentations and stone steps, the grooves left by lifting platforms, the faint traces of decorative carving, contribute to the gentle rhythm of exploration. They remind the observer the immense human effort invested in this space, of craftsmanship and care, patience and precision. Every element, whether fully present, partially eroded, or completely missing, plays a role in the immersive experience, guiding attention, shaping perception, and creating a meditative flow. The Colosseum becomes a living composition, a rhythmic blend of history, imagination, and sensory experience that invites calm and reflective wandering. Pausing at the edge of a corridor or near a remaining arch, you can take in the full scope of the amphitheater. The arches, corridors, hypogeum, arena floor, and imagined upper galleries work together to form a harmonious composition. The missing sections, rather than creating emptiness, provide space for imagination and contemplation. The rhythm of presence and absence, light and shadow, movement and stillness, carries the mind slowly through time. The Colosseum, even in partial ruin, offers a meditative journey that blends observation, imagination, and gentle reflection, inviting the observer to engage fully yet calmly with its layered story. Finally, standing near the arena and letting your gaze sweep across the amphitheater, the Colosseum feels alive in both its endurance and its impermanence. The missing sections, upper galleries, valerium, and decorative features, invite imagination and reflection, shaping perception in a way that complements what remains. The rhythm of arches, corridors, hypogeum, and arena, combined with the subtle interplay of light, shadow, and texture, creates a slow, immersive cadence. This rhythm carries the mind gently through centuries of history, architecture, and human ingenuity, fostering calm, curiosity, and peaceful contemplation. The Colosseum, monumental yet intimate, lost yet imagined, remains a space for reflection, meditation, and quiet wonder. As you move slowly to the Colosseum, a deeper sense of rhythm and continuity emerges, even in the presence of missing sections. The arches, corridors, and walls guide your gaze in gentle, repetitive patterns, encouraging slow, deliberate observation. The empty spaces where upper galleries or wooden seating once stood invite imagination to reconstruct the structure, adding a layer of quiet engagement to the experience. You can sense the flow of human movement, long since past, in the silent echo of footsteps and the imagined rustle of clothing. This combination of presence and absence creates a meditative environment, one that is both immersive and calming, allowing the mind to wander gently through centuries of history. Walking along the corridors, the subtle textures of stone reveal themselves under careful observation. Travertine walls, smoothed by centuries of use, contrast with rougher limestone blocks that bear the marks of weather and time. Traces of ancient construction techniques are visible in the precision of joints and the alignment of arches. Imagine tracing your fingers along these surfaces, feeling the faint grooves left by builders' tools and the impressions of countless footsteps over the ages. Even the smallest details contribute to a gentle rhythm, reinforcing the structure's integrity while inviting the observer into a slow, mindful exploration of space. The arena floor stretches widely beneath your feet, its golden sand glowing softly in the filtered sunlight. Beneath it lies a hypogeum, a hidden network of tunnels, lifts, and cages that orchestrate the spectacular performances above. Imagine the gentle hum of mechanisms, the soft glide of platforms, and the subtle movement of animals and performers, all synchronized in an almost imperceptible rhythm. The arena itself, though empty, retains a pulse, a quiet energy that seems to rise from the hypogeum and extend into surrounding corridors and arches. This hidden rhythm complements the visible structure, creating a holistic sense of order and flow that feels both soothing and mesmerizing. Looking upward, the arches continue to guide the eye with their repetitive elegance. Some are fully intact, their curves reaching gracefully toward the sky, while others are partially collapsed or missing, creating a rhythm of contrast that draws attention to precision of the remaining architecture. Sunlight filters through these openings, casting gentle shadows that shift slowly with the passage of time. The movement of light across the stone surfaces forms a visual cadence, a calm undulation that mirrors the imagined rhythm of human activity in ages past. Even the missing sections, such as the upper galleries and Valerium, contribute to this rhythm, their absence providing space for reflection and imaginative reconstruction. The upper terraces, though largely lost, remain integral to the Colosseum's design. Imagine the wooden galleries once there, their gentle sway under the weight of spectators, creating a soft, continuous hum of movement. The Valerium, though no longer present, can be envisioned as a massive canopy, its ropes and fabric shifting subtly with the breeze, filtering sunlight and providing comfort to the seated audience. The rhythm of these imagined elements blends with the remaining architecture, creating a layered experience that combines tangible presence with mental reconstruction. The interplay of what is present and what is absent forms a meditative cadence, inviting gentle curiosity and immersive reflection. The corridors surrounding the arena continue to reveal subtle complexities. Narrow passages lead to wider spaces, vaulted ceilings echoing imagined footsteps, and arches framing views of both interior and exterior landscapes. Vomitoria, though empty now, suggests a controlled flow of movement, a design that allowed thousands of spectators to enter and exit without chaos. The rhythm of these spaces, alternating between confinement and openness, shadow and light, encourages slow, thoughtful movement. Even absent spectators, the architecture communicates a sense of order and calm, providing a framework for gentle observation and mental engagement. The interplay of light and shadow is particularly captivating. Sunlight passing through arches and openings highlights textures, emphasizes contours, and creates shifting patterns across walls, corridors, and the arena floor. The missing upper sections of the Colosseum, while absent physically, cast imagined shadows that the mind can reconstruct, reinforcing a sense of continuity and balance. These dynamic visual rhythms draw attention without urgency, creating a soothing environment where the observer can remain fully immersed in the experience of space and history. Even the smallest architectural details carry a quiet narrative. The worn steps, indentations from lifting platforms, and remnants of decorative carvings tell stories of construction, maintenance, and use over centuries. Imagine running your hand along a step, feeling the gentle undulations left by countless footsteps, or observing a niche that once held a statue, now empty but still shaping the rhythm of the surrounding architecture. Each element, whether intact or absent, contributes to a subtle, immersive cadence, reinforcing a sense of harmony between structure, history, and imagination. The arena floor, smooth and inviting, anchors this experience. The golden sand absorbs sound and softens movement, creating a forgiving surface that enhances both observation and imagination. Beneath it, the hypogeum continues its quiet orchestration, lifting platforms and trapdoors that were once active now remain poised in imagined stillness. This hidden layer creates a heartbeat for the Colosseum, a subtle rhythm that permeates the surrounding architecture. The missing upper galleries, velarium, and decorative elements exist in the mind, completing the immersive cycle of presence, absence, and reflection. Pausing at the edge of a corridor or archway, the full scope of the amphitheater can be appreciated. The arches, corridors, hypogeum, arena, and imagined upper galleries form a seamless composition, a space where rhythm, balance, and contrast guide attention. The missing sections, rather than diminishing the experience, create breathing space for imagination, reflection, and quiet curiosity. The combination of stone, wood, sand, and air forms a layered pulse that gently carries the mind through centuries, connecting past and present in a meditative flow. Finally, standing near the arena or along a high corridor, the Colosseum feels alive with memory and potential. The missing upper galleries, velarium, and decorative features invite the mind to reconstruct, imagine, and meditate. The arches, corridors, arena, and hypogeum work together in a harmonious rhythm, blending light, shadow, presence, and absence. This rhythm carries the observer gently through history, architecture, and human ingenuity, fostering calm, curiosity, and peaceful contemplation. The Colosseum, monumental yet intimate, lost yet imagined, continues to offer space for immersive reflection, quiet exploration, and serene wonder. As you continue your slow journey through the Colosseum, the sense of history and rhythm deepens, blending the tangible presence of stone with the imagined echoes of the past. The arches rise in repeated patterns, some fully intact, others missing or crumbled, creating a visual cadence that draws the eye gently across the structure. The missing upper galleries and wooden platforms are felt as much as they are absent, their absence inviting the mind to reconstruct their form, imagining the thousands of spectators who once filled these spaces, their murmurs and movement adding an unseen rhythm to the amphitheater. Each step you take along the corridors seems to awaken a memory embedded in the stone, a subtle heartbeat of human activity that persists even in imagined stillness. The corridors themselves are a study in rhythm and contrast. Narrow spaces give way to broader halls, guiding movement in a deliberate and gentle flow. The vaulted ceilings echo softly with the imagined footsteps of ancient Romans, creating a meditative cadence that aligns with the arch's visual repetition. Even the vomitoria, long empty to crowds, convey a quiet sense of order, a structured passage for movement that once allowed thousands to enter and exit with ease. Walking slowly through these corridors, it becomes easy to sense the flow of energy that the architect intended, a rhythm of arrival and anticipation, mirrored in both structure and imagination. Looking down to the arena floor, the golden sand stretches smoothly, absorbing sound and softening each imagined step. Beneath it, the hypogeum remains a hidden world of silent potential, a labyrinth of tunnels, lifts, and cages that once orchestrated the drama above. Imagine the subtle movement of a platform rising, a cage sliding open, or the soft padding of an animal's steps, all perfectly timed and synchronized. This hidden layer of the Colosseum forms a quiet pulse, a rhythm that resonates upward through the arena and into the surrounding corridors and arches. Even in absence, the missing sections, the upper galleries, velarium, and statues, inform the experience, shaping imagination and perception, and reinforcing a gentle, immersive cadence. The interplay of light and shadow continues to mesmerize. Sunlight filters through the arches and openings, casting long, shifting patterns that illuminate the texture and depth of the stone. The missing upper sections are suggested through contrast, allowing the mind to reconstruct their shape and scale. As the day progresses, the patterns of light move slowly, tracing the curves of the arena, highlighting the grooves of worn steps, and accentuating the subtle imperfections in the walls. The rhythm created by this interplay is calming and reflective, encouraging the observer to linger, notice small details, and immerse fully in the quiet narrative of space and history. The upper terraces, though largely lost, still influence perception and imagination. Picture the wooden galleries stretching outward, filled with spectators, their gentle creaking and soft murmur forming an inaudible, hypnotic rhythm. The velarium, absent but easily imagined, adds another layer of movement, its fabric and ropes shifting subtly with the wind, filtering sunlight and providing comfort to the audience below. These absent elements complement the existing structure, creating a layered rhythm that blends visual, tactile, and imaginative engagement. The interplay of presence and absence, seen and imagined, solidifies a meditative pace, encouraging slow, immersive reflection. Walking along the lower corridors, the textures of stone, traces of mortar, and subtle remains of wooden supports create a tactile rhythm that harmonizes with the visual repetition of arches and walls. Imagine running your fingers lightly across these surfaces, sensing the unevenness created by centuries of use, the gentle indentations from tools and footsteps, and the erosion caused by time. Even the smallest details convey a quiet story of construction, maintenance, and human life, reinforcing the rhythm of the Colosseum as a living, breathing memory. The missing parts, whether they be upper galleries, velarium, or decorative statues, provide mental space for reflection, imagination, and reconstruction, further enhancing the immersive experience. The arena floor anchors the space with calm simplicity. Its smooth sand contrasts with the textured walls and arches, creating a visual and tactile balance that guides attention naturally. Beneath the floor, the hypogeum orchestrates invisible movement. A lift platform rising here, a cage sliding there, all in quiet, imagined harmony. This hidden rhythm complements the visible rhythm of the amphitheater, creating a layered, meditative pulse that flows through the arches, corridors, and terraces. Even in the absence of physical structures, the space retains a sense of motion and anticipation, providing continuity and depth to the observer's experience. The arches themselves offer a meditative cadence. Rising in measured repetition, they frame views of the arena, corridors, and sky beyond, guiding attention and promoting calm observation. Intact arches display elegance and symmetry, while partially missing or crumbled ones provide contrast, allowing imagination to reconstruct their form. The combination of light, shadow, texture, and absence creates a slow, immersive rhythm, one that encourages reflective wandering and gentle engagement with the history of the space. The missing upper galleries and velarium, imagined within this rhythm, enhance rather than detract from the sense of balance and continuity. Even the smallest details, the worn stone steps, the grooves and supporting platforms, and the faint traces of carvings, carry a narrative that deepens the meditative experience. These marks suggest human presence, the care taken in construction, and the passage of countless visitors over centuries. Running fingers lightly along these surfaces, noticing the subtle imperfections, or imagining the decorative statues that once adorned the walls, reinforces the immersive rhythm of observation and imagination. Each element, whether present or absent, contributes to a layered pulse that carries the mind through space and time. Pausing at a vantage point, either at the edge of the arena or within a higher corridor, the full scope of the Colosseum can be appreciated. The arches, corridors, hypogeum, arena, and imagined upper galleries form a seamless composition, with each element contributing to a rhythm of observation, reflection, and imagination. The missing sections, rather than creating emptiness, provide space for reconstruction in the mind, allowing a mental exploration of scale, structure, and history. The interplay of presence and absence, light and shadow, movement and stillness, creates a meditative experience that is immersive, calming, and profoundly reflective. Finally, standing quietly in the amphitheater, the Colosseum feels alive with memory and silent energy. The missing upper galleries, velarium, and decorative features invite the imagination to complete the structure, filling in the rhythm and harmony of the past. The arches, corridors, arena, and hypogeum continue to resonate with a subtle pulse, blending light, shadow, present, and absence into a seamless meditative cadence. The mind drifts gently through centuries of history, architecture, and human ingenuity, guided by the slow rhythm of observation and imagination. The Colosseum, monumental yet intimate, lost yet reconstructed in thought, remains a sanctuary for reflection, peaceful wandering, and immersive contemplation, carrying the observer softly through time. As you move gently through the Colosseum, the rhythm of arches and corridors continues to guide your attention. Some arches remain intact, their curves reaching gracefully toward the sky, while others are missing, inviting the mind to reconstruct what once was. The absent upper galleries, wooden platforms, and velarium are not emptiness. They are spaces for imagination, where you can picture spectators seated, murmuring softly, and sunlight filtered through canvas above. The The corridors, narrow and vaulted, echo faintly with imagined footsteps. The vomitoria, now empty, suggests a flow of thousands of ancient spectators moving with purpose and order. Each step along these passageways aligns with gentle rhythm, creating a sense of calm and reflection. The arena floor stretches smoothly, absorbing imagined sound and grounding the space. Beneath it, the hypogeum remains a hidden pulse, with platforms, cages, and passages imagined in motion, orchestrating spectacles long past. This silent rhythm links the subterranean spaces with the visible architecture above, blending presence and absence into a continuous meditative flow. Light and shadow move slowly across the stone, emphasizing textures, contours, and imperfections, forming a soft visual cadence. Even the smallest details, the worn steps, faint carvings, and grooves in stone, carry quiet stories of human presence and craftsmanship. The missing upper galleries, velarium, and decorative elements encourage imagination, inviting the mind to reconstruct history at calm, reflective pace. The arches, corridors, arena, and hypogeum work together to create a rhythm that blends observation, memory, and quiet meditation, carrying the observer gently through time, space, and the layered story of the Colosseum. As you move slowly through the Colosseum, the rhythm of arches and corridors guides your gaze gently across the space. Some arches stand intact, soaring gracefully, while others are missing, inviting your mind to reconstruct the amphitheater's former grandeur. The missing upper galleries, velarium, and decorative elements are not emptiness. They are spaces for imagination, allowing you to picture spectators filling the seats, soft murmurs rising, and the gentle creak of wooden platforms underfoot. The corridors, narrow and vaulted, echo softly with imagined footsteps, while the vomitoria suggests organized movement of countless ancient spectators. Each step along these passageways aligns with meditative pulse, a rhythm of presence and absence. The arena floor stretches smoothly, absorbing imagined sound, while the hypogeum beneath remains poised in quiet anticipation. Platforms, cages, and hidden corridors move in imagined harmony, their unseen rhythm connecting the structure above with its subterranean heart. Light and shadow play across the stone, shifting slowly as the sun moves, emphasizing textures, curves, and subtle imperfections. The arches, corridors, and terraces create a visual and mental cadence, encouraging slow observation and reflection. Even the smallest details, the worn stone steps, faint traces of carvings, or grooves from lifting platforms, reinforce the immersive rhythm, blending history, imagination, and quiet contemplation into a soothing flow that carries the mind gently through time. Standing near the arena, the Colosseum feels alive with history and memory. Its arches, corridors, arena floor, and hypogeum form a layered pulse, blending the tangible with the imagined. The missing upper galleries and velarium invite reconstruction in the mind, completing the amphitheater's rhythm. The arches rise repeatedly, framing views of stone, sand, and sky, while sunlight filters through, casting gentle, shifting patterns. The smooth arena floor grounds the space, absorbing movement and encouraging reflection. Beneath, the hypogeum pulses silently, platforms and cages imagined in careful motion. The upper terraces, though absent, suggest soft creaking under imagined spectators, and the velarium filters light subtly above, blending presence and absence into a calm, meditative cadence. Even the smallest details, the worn steps, traces of carvings, and weathered stone, tell quiet stories of human effort and design. Moving slowly through corridors, pausing in arches, and imagining missing sections, the mind drifts gently through centuries of history. Light, shadow, texture, and imagined motion form a rhythm that encourages immersive contemplation. The Colosseum, monumental yet intimate, lost yet imagined, becomes a sanctuary for calm reflection. Its arches, corridors, arena, hypogeum, and missing terraces guide the observer softly through time, blending history, imagination, and quiet wonder into a serene, meditative journey.